Was it that bad? Oh my Lord.
It was crazy, man.
Wow.
Like, yeah, they got a lot of things that they went over. And I tell you, they deep. They deep.
So you didn't find it beneficial?
I found it beneficial because I began to understand a lot more of what is expected in this class, especially at the end, what I call the savage moment.
Okay.
They had, they had two speakers. Their
Mm-hmm.
theme was springtime, and I found it interesting. They had a chairman of the meeting. They had a word master, lexicon master, and then they had a session, guys, where they call it the and session.
Did you go to the all men 1600 group?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
This was Legalities Toastmasters Club 701-8193.
Okay.
I had two last week that I could have attended, but what had happened is that the first one, this particular one, the Legalites, they ran straight into almost till 9 p.m. on Thursday. They started a few minutes late, but they almost
Okay.
ran in 2 hours. Their word of the day, or word that they encouraged us to use, was cavort.
Pronounce it, say it again.
Cavort, C-A-V-O-R-T, cavort, to leap or to dance about in a lively manner. Right? And they had their lexicon and everything. I'm like, y'all really extra now. But the most interesting part of the whole experience, right, was that they had two speakers. I think the young lady was a level 1 and the other one was a level 5. The level 5 got destroyed by the general examiners because it was two general. I think they call them, that's what they call them, general examiners. And they went in from, oh, well, you didn't have a clearly defined introduction. Your body of your presentation was lacking. They told the first young lady, you need to slow down. I don't like your eye contact. Use a clock. The lady from Guyana was kind of, I'm like, dang. You come home from work to get roast like this? No, boy.
But good, it's good practice, because in the corporate world and when you present at work, nobody, even when we present here in the class, everybody gives like a very constructive criticism, but nobody gives that like tough love. And how do we actually get better if nobody points out to us what's really wrong? You see, so
the crazy part is, right, the first young lady did her topic on conflict resolution. Right, the second lady from Guyana, she did with pregnancy with purpose. The first young lady, she did her presentation from her car while she was driving. And they mentioned, one of them mentioned that, hey, maybe if you were sitting down in a different place, it would have been a little better. I'm like, first of all, she in a car. How in the world she could be focused, eye contact on a phone while she's driving? That doesn't make no sense. But anyway, I think they were a little bit rough on the second lady. I know she's supposed to, I think they call it a level 5. But the first lady, conflict resolution.
Okay, well, I'm happy.
It's interesting though.
I'm happy you had a good experience.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. But that's what happens in the real world. And I always say, I don't want to do you a disservice. Everybody is always overworked and overwhelmed. But, I try to, even though I guess Coldbrook had me on a timer for a very long time. But, in the real world, people don't normally speak up, and they don't give you the correct counsel or advice that you need to perform properly. So you know, that's why I want you to go to those forums and you know, get the experience that you need and see how it really is. And so at least I can tell you that that person is gonna go back and, you know, pay attention to the critiques and adjust. So, you know, especially, let's say if it was for a first, second, or, you know, for some type of reward, or, you know, who would be the top of the class, who would be, you know, so perhaps you need to make it a bit competitive. So, you know, persons take it seriously, but I'm glad you went and you saw the type of comments, very, very timely, before you have to do a presentation. So very good. Did you introduce yourself?
I did introduce myself because they asked for the guests. So we're gonna ask Kendrick to introduce himself, and I
Okay.
did. And I did. I found it rewarding. It's just like the roasting, because even the chairman got roasted. Even the general examiner, when she said she spoke to the chairman, say when you speak in actually introducing somebody, please do not appear to be as biased as she picked up. I'm like, whoa.
But all
God.
constructive, right? All constructive. But it's a food for
I know.
thought. Food
I
for
know.
thought. They weren't
Sure.
being facetious, right?
Listen, my camera was off, so if their camera was off, so
And
non-verbal communication, I couldn't see. But boy, look here, roast. I said, okay. I said, all right, I completed my task. I could get my extra 5%.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you had the experience of what really happens during these presentations and when you're practicing. And we want persons to critique you properly and, you know, not only, you know, give you compliments, but, you know, the tough love, it helps you to go back and, you know, fix what needs to be fixed or adjust where you need to adjust it. So very good, very good. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Anybody else for their 5% before we start with the presentation?
I also attended a Toastmasters meeting. It was, they call it the Breakfast Club. It was a Saturday morning. It was about an hour, very short. This
You were
club
lucky.
71, 78. Pardon?
You were lucky.
Oh, yeah. The
2
person
hours.
invited
2
me. I
hours.
was like, you know, keep this to a minimum, please. So they just suggested I do the breakfast one, but the breakfast one is really, really good though. So they like, they already prepare like from the night before, everyone go get their sauce and then they come in, blah, 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 they eat that. Yeah. So this one was Find Your Balance that I attended. Now, Kendrick, you had a different experience because I didn't really feel like they was roasting each other. I felt like it was constructive criticism on the one I was too. I didn't see, because one person at the end, I can't remember his name, he critiqued everyone who spoke.
That would have been the general
I
examiner.
would say mine was constructive, Miss Bullet and Kendrick, because he didn't just say something negative. He told them what they could have changed, but he also said something positive.
Listen, trust me.
So I mean,
they said some things positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for homegirl, Miss Guyana, 2021, she get do right in. I'm like,
no, my own wasn't like that.
Y'all know this woman know y'all money.
No, this one wasn't like that. In all honesty, no. I felt like I can't remember his name, but he did a good job. It was like I said, it was a balance. He did say what they could have changed, but he fixed it up and said he started with what they did right and then talk about what they did wrong, how they could improve, and that was everyone. Like I said, the topic was finding your balance. Now I try to pronounce this word. The word of the day was equipoise. I'll say pronounce it. EQUIPOISE. What it means is the balance of forces or interests. So they allowed like 3 persons to use the word in a sentence. I didn't enjoy that part too good because I was still like a little, you know.
They chose you?
Pardon?
Did they choose you?
To do what?
To use it in a sentence.
You crazy? No, I had my mic off, but they did tell me they did. Like they did make me turn on my mic and my camera, introduce myself, but they didn't ask no questions. All they asked me to turn my mic up, and I did introduce myself and asked me if I enjoyed it. So I said yes, I find it. Yeah, it was very informative.
Yeah.
Because I know the table talk was, what is the best advice you've ever gotten? And the guy response was, you cannot take anyone with you. That was his best response. It wasn't, I found to be informed, like I said, it was talking about finding your balance, balancing your perspective. They talk about like self-worth, self-work, and self-love and all that other stuff. But it wasn't, I mean, I supposed to go again this Saturday. I enjoyed it. I didn't think they were being rude. Pardon?
We had the Hunger Games. I guess I want us to self games. Anyway.
My one wasn't like yours, Kendrick. I feel like he was the guy was being constructive, but I couldn't follow all this Madam Speaker this, Madam Speaker that, and all these different names. Then Kendrick, I don't like that part.
Toastmaster Sanders. You have
the floor. Like
yeah. I'm like that's a logic.
Yeah, I didn't, but it was nice and short. There was no running on. I liked it.
The experience, I think the experience is it's great for everybody to at least go to one of them and just, sit down and see how they just
communicate.
Comedy Central roast.
Thing too, what I like with Miss Bullet when she was talking to you was that I like how they could, well, in my session, I like how they critique, because I don't like the negative.
Listen, they did say, okay, with the first speaker, they said, listen, we sense your passion, but they say you're still going too fast. I'm like, how in the world do you give a speech from a car while you drive it and give your full attention to
to
me, I'm like, this woman sitting there at a computer, you're basically, I know it's Easter season, y'all trying to crucify this woman all over brand new again.
Oh Lord.
But no, it was, I'm like, oh,
it was too much. You felt it was too much.
She should not have done it from her car, but without the
and I was considering because if she's supposed to be a level 5, I
think it's a level 1 or level 2 who did it from the car, and I'm like, how can you do a presentation from your car? And listen, there was some what's it? Ebonics. There's some words being used.
Oh Lord,
I felt like I was back in the hood. Seriously.
Right, and you have to increase, like my uncle always says, you have to increase your repertoire, because every week they have a new word.
That's a good thing, though, Miss Bullet. That's a good thing
for the day, and it gives you good exposure. So again, all of this is to benefit you, to help you get to the next level. Is an eye opener. You found it beneficial, and you did enjoy it. So very good.
I did enjoy it.
And you got 5 bonus points for enjoying it.
I mean, I appreciate that. Props out to the Toastmasters, Legalites Toastmasters Club. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It is an interesting
like you said, I think everyone should do it at least once. I agree.
Once, right.
Yeah, because I mean, personally, for me, I'm looking for a civic organization, and maybe I can help out here and there. I know it could be Toastmasters.
But Kendrick, I don't know if yours like mine, but one thing I realized when I was there was that it seemed like a lot, like some of them were well spoken, like they could present, and some were not. I don't know if that's how yours was.
Yeah, because I think what happens is that they were all at different, I would say, different levels.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's
different
what I
levels.
realized.
So I think it's good ground to enhance yourself.
Yeah, I need to take one of them because I do not
public
like
speaking.
I could write, but I don't like speaking. I don't like that.
Yeah,
whereas
if you're going to be a supervisor, you're going to have huddles and meetings and encouragement.
No, I don't mind a little 5-minute little huddle, but like a formal.
Okay, so when you become an executive, you have to go to the board meeting.
Well, that's
that.
Yeah,
okay,
that's the part there where I'll be nervous.
So
I'll send an email.
Ain't nothing to be nervous about. Just
not really nervous. I will send an email. I'm better sending an email.
But the more you practice, and again, you will start at level 1, and then you will, by the time you get to the executive level in your institution, you'll be at a level 5, and you stand up there and you win it. I mean, you do very good. So it's practice.
Yeah. Okay.
It's practice, and I see ads outside on the lawn on the highways saying if you want to learn to do public speaking, they charge $50 an hour. And I was like, people pay for that? Then you can
$50,
go,
I wouldn't.
yes,
An hour?
yes. And that's what
YouTube.
it is. That's
YouTube.
what it
YouTube.
is.
Not even you. I
YouTube.
could go join Toastmasters. Like if someone
Just for
send me a link.
free. There you go, for free. So I'm telling you, all these things will benefit you for, you are preparing for where you are headed. Okay, you are the future leaders. So start now. Okay, and don't wait until you get the promotion tomorrow and then they
To do
say
it.
the next week we need you to
I feel
present at the
like
board
even,
meeting.
I feel like even something like what we're doing today and next week, like this really should have been done in person.
Yeah,
Where
I
you could
agree.
do like a PowerPoint, and after going to the that I realized that I'm like, this really should have, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Margaret,
Yes.
this is what I'm gonna say. Pull it back. Just pull it back a little bit. Just pull it back. No,
I'm
just
sorry.
Pull it
Okay.
back.
No, I mean, no, for true. I mean, I don't meet in person no more today, but I'm just saying, like, if you want to do a complete presentation, I mean,
Right.
I just was saying it. I know for me, I would prefer to do that than reading what I write, just repeating what I write. I mean, for me.
Okay, so what normally happens, like if we're in class, when you know how I assign different parts of the book for you to speak on each
Right.
week, for you actually come up to the front of the class and you stand up in front and you practice, and you discuss your portion of the book. That's what happens when we're in class. But we had to adjust a lot of things because we're on Zoom. So
yeah.
no, it ain't good because you all need the practice. You all need the practice. So, but hopefully, some of you will go on to effective presentations, and hopefully that'll be in class, and you will get the full brunt of the experience, and you will get to practice.
Next
Okay,
month.
very
Next
good,
month.
very good. I'm glad.
I'll see that for me and you again with that.
And I hope you all
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough
telling
for
this
us.
bullet this. You already get to a 5 point, but I really hope that you all found it beneficial and will return.
Yeah,
No,
Good.
I definitely not Miss Bullet. I only go into the breakfast one. I'm not going to the. How long yours was, Kendra?
almost 2 hours.
Hell no, I can't be in a class for almost 3 hours. No.
2 hours. 2
I-
hours.
No.
2 hours.
no.
But the thing is that they had so many. They had all of the different things. I'm like, so they have a table topic master.
Yeah, they have a table.
A-
That's what. Yeah, they have a table.
word
Like,
master.
a table topic. And then the next thing, like they ask one thing. I don't like this, Miss Bullet. Like I don't like people to put me on the spot. Like how they just ask questions and they say Toastmaster. What was the weather like today? Toastmaster Kenra. Like Kenra, can you expecting that question? No, I don't know if I like that.
Well, Toastmaster Sanders, the weather was rather hot today because I was out of road traffic waiting 4+ hours to get a car license. And in the process of waiting, I found that everything was completely disorganized. And traditionally, at road traffic department at our national stadium, where social distancing was something obviously of the past and not in play today, where members of staff ignored the general public and did not even give top-notch service.
Toastmaster Kendra, were you surprised that you didn't get top-notch service? Road traffic. Miss Bullet, what is Kendra talking about?
No,
you are so surprised.
You gave
an example of speaking on the spot.
You gave me the weather.
Yes.
You gave me the weather, and I built on it.
I built
on it.
Okay, but the thing about it is, do these things, these don't happen in your institution? Like persons don't just pop up and say, I need you to hold a general staff meeting for today. No, that doesn't happen.
I was given at least 2 weeks notice on our last departmental meeting, and I chaired it. It came off pretty well. We had persons from all of our various branches in Freeport and Abaco, as well as Nassau. It came off pretty well, but
excellent.
It's not the first time that I chaired a meeting, so to me it wasn't the first time I chaired a meeting, so but it was interesting. I don't know if the rest of you can get an opportunity to go to one and watch the presentation. It should be good. You should learn a lot. See,
try the Breakfast Club, guys.
You gotta give them the ID and everything on Zoom.
Oh, well, I don't know what someone sent it to me that day. I have to see if they send it, and I'll send it to the email if I get it this week.
Because I know some usually traditionally go 1 the first and third week, some go 2 in the fourth week.
No,
So,
it seems as if this is a week. Let me find it right now. But it seemed like this. He said do it every Saturday morning, but I can find it right now.
Okay, great. And thank you for sharing the information. So giving the rest of the class one last opportunity, which is next week in our review class. So what'll happen today is after we finish, you'll probably get a review sheet. It'll have topics from, I think it's chapters 2, 5, 6, 7, and 10. That's going to be on the final exam. And next to each topic, it will have your name, and we're trying to decide right now whether we want to give you 50 multiple choice or 25 multiple choice and an essay. So we're still at the drawing board, but I told them y'all would be happy for the 50 multiple choice and like probably 10 short answer questions. That sounds better than the essay, correct?
that sounds better, the essay, yeah.
Depends on what the essay on.
Yes, I don't want any essays.
Okay, fine. So perhaps it'll be the 50 multiple choice and then I guess 10 short answer questions. So you could expect the review sheet sometime tomorrow, and it'll have your name next to it. And so on review day, you come and the same thing we did for the midterm, you would discuss whichever topic is assigned to your name. Okay, so that's clear. Everybody for review?
Yes, ma'am.
We know what to do.
You
Okay,
have to
good.
study all of your definitions, right? All of the definitions that were presented in the actual chapter.
Yes, because primarily the multiple choice,
Okay,
because you're gonna have so many, they will be definitions from
On an
those
average,
chapters.
on an average of almost
hold on,
20,
how we
that's
gonna-
that's 100 words.
This
That's
is what I
100 definitions. Don't
No.
argue
Why is
with
it 100? Why is it 100? You getting 10 from each chapter. You're getting 10 questions from each chapter.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 questions each chapter. Okay, but at the end of those chapters, they with 50 words to the end. To the back. I even 10 words. I see what 10 you're talking about.
On
You
average,
will have-
that's 50.
you will have 10.
That's on average, they have about maybe 18 words per chapter.
Okay,
So
times how
which
many
means-
chapters are there? How many chapters are there?
5,
5 chapters.
2, 5, 6, 7,
7
I
and
think.
10.
And 10.
Yeah.
Okay, almost 100, yeah.
But we'll cover again, everybody will have a topic assigned and you will come to the review prepared to discuss your topic. Okay? And more than likely, your words or the definitions that you need, we will cover in the review. So, and we've covered it already. And if you go back to the recordings and just pay attention and listen, have a review of the recording for that chapter, you should be fine. Okay, so this is, we're 90% there. And then the following week, Ms. Dean will expect you at the Institute to sit the final exam, just like you went in on to take the midterm. Okay,
What is the,
so everybody clear?
just the 13, right?
Yeah, April the 13th.
Okay.
Okay,
Is there any opportunity to do the exam earlier than 6 p.m.?
you would have to call Ms.
have to
Dean
call Ms.
and,
Dean. Okay.
yeah, and arrange
Okay.
that with her at the
Okay.
office. Right? Yeah, but
Okay, ma'am.
she may more than likely accommodate you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, but if it's gonna be a different date because you
No.
have like an emergency or something, then you'd have to give a separate exam. So that you'd have to let her know that.
Okay.
Okay? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
great. Okay, great. So we all ready and fired up, Denise, Yuri, Blakely, we all ready for these presentations?
Not tonight.
Nice
Well,
kicks,
I
Denise.
know what
Nice
Joanne is
kicks.
for, but that's what Ms. Bullis is for, the presentation. Right? And so what we want to do is something similar when we talked about the speech. We want each person just to give like a word of advice, because this person would have mentored somebody for the last 6 weeks. And so we want to give them a word of encouragement, some good counsel. You can critique their speech or, welcome them to becoming a new supervisor and any advice you would give them to not give up because we would have seen how tough it is, how ambiguous it is, how, you know, you don't get any pay for it, but this is welcome to your years of service before you become a future leader, okay, when you become a supervisor. So I'm just going to look at how we are signed in here. And the first person I see is Denise, and then Kendrick. So Kendrick, we want you to give Denise the word of advice. And then Yuri will give, so Kendrick will give Denise. Denise will give Yuri. Roseanne will give Kendrick. Blakely will give Margaret. Tanishka will give Blakely. Yeah, and that's all I see. I don't see anybody else. So I think everybody would have had somebody. Did I miss anybody's name with either critiquing or when they have their?
I think you missed my name with who is critiquing me.
And I
Okay,
don't, I'm not critiquing nobody, that's must be me and you.
Margaret.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Margaret, yeah. Margaret and Tanishka. Yeah. So Blakely is doing Margaret, and Margaret will do Tanishka, and Tanishka will do Kendrick. Yeah, Kendrick. Okay, I think I covered everybody.
No, you said I don't Blakely, not Kendrick.
Okay, yes, you're right. So
Yeah.
we don't have enough people then. Let's see. Tanishka. Okay, I have Roseanne doing Kendrick. So we good? Okay, are we ready? Anybody wants to volunteer, or do I look at the list again?
I can go first. I don't mind.
I'll go first. I'll go first. Go ahead, Denise.
Okay, so Denise, okay, who's gonna put Denise or Kendrick?
I'll go first.
Oh,
So I
okay.
can get this over with. I'm nervous.
Denise or Kendrick, you're critiquing Denise.
Right. Okay.
Mine,
Okay.
Denise. Mine, Denise. I be the Toastmaster the other day.
I just gonna say this
Don't
ain't
be
no
savage.
slaughterhouse or no roasting sessions.
Roast masters.
Okay. Good night, everyone. Y'all can hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because like I said, I have some construction going on in the background and their generator running. So the mediocre leader tells, the good leader explains, the superior leader demonstrates, the great leader inspires. And that's by Gary Patton. I was recently challenged with the wonderful task of mentoring someone of my choosing for 6 weeks. At first, this idea was not appealing to me. It meant that I'd have to spend time preparing myself mentally, physically preparing an in-depth week-by-week plan for what is to be done, and some research to ensure that the knowledge that I'm about to share is accurate. This also meant that I'd have to prepare myself for questions that may not be related to or limited to the job. I chose a young lady who was not new to the organization, was not new to the organization. She had been working for the company going on 2 years and is currently attending University of the Bahamas, obtaining a degree in finance. She has no siblings, and after further conversation, established that her parents are, shall I say, mature. Whenever I see this young lady, she'd mostly be alone, a very shy and manly person who seemed to be dependable, which was one of the reasons I selected her as my mentee. The aim of the program was to successfully create a culture of learning, both personal and professionally, while encouraging an open dialogue and fostering an environment of collaboration, networking, and team winning. After establishing the reason, the goals, and the expectations for the program, we decided to dive right in. Because of the time of the month, I decided to show her how the end of the month returns were completed. This included how certain reports, this included how to work certain reports and the relationship between the reports, the branches, our finance department, and Canada, which is our head. Her experience being in the branch allowed her to focus solely on customers and their needs. However, I was able to provide an extensive insight on life after the branch to make the whole picture come together. We were able to cover many aspects, not just limited to the returns. As time passed and the trust between us became stronger, I realized that the communication between she and myself were flowing freer, more fluent, and with little effort. She quickly became confident within herself, showing her desire to acquire this knowledge, completing reports with minimal to no supervision, offering assistance and showing adaptability, asking the right questions, being punctual, and showing the initiative of wanting to succeed. I became, as Wood should say, a proud parent. One of the discussions we had was the gap between the front office versus the back office and succession planning. How more job shadowing / training should be done and how beneficial it would be for the company if employees are able to move into a new position already trained. Getting official training can be a rigorous and daunting process, and if approved, is normally only a short time. I encourage her to get more hands-on experience, unofficially if needed. Once somebody is willing to assist and there is no risk involved. Knowledge is power and something that cannot be taken away. To gain what you can and to take advantage of every opportunity that presents itself. Overall, the program was very enlightening for me. Knowledge was exchanged on both sides. I was able to see how my contribution to her development will put her in a better position. From time to time, she'd call and ask if she can sit in even though the program is completed, or I'd call to inquire on her progress. The drive and the motivation she possesses is very contagious and has even caused me to do some personal reassessment. Am I doing what is necessary to better my situation? Am I being the best me possible? Here ends the scripture reading.
Thanks be to God.
Oh, my mic on, I shame.
Preach, preach,
Oh, you didn't realize your mic was on.
preach.
No.
Yeah, it's a scripture reading. Okay, Denise. Before I say anything, let me ask you something. How do you feel personally with the whole mentoring experience? Did it cause you to grow as an individual?
It definitely did. Because, like I said, at first, I wasn't against the idea of it. The fear of actually of going through the whole process was, I think, what got me more than actually doing it. So once I had already realized what I was going to do and I sat down and I planned it and I was able to get the overall objective of what I wanted to share with her. It was easier for me, like I said, as time passed, because then I realized too that she is just a human, like I'm just a human. And the fact that her personality itself, the fact that she was willing to learn, she showed initiative, she offered her assistance whenever she could. Like she didn't just show up and just went through the process. She showed up, and she actually wanted to learn. I felt that from her. And so from as time passed on, I realized that, okay, so she's just as human as I am, and she wants to learn, and I have it. And so let me just, and once or twice she asked me a question, and I had to, I was like, you know what? Let me get back to you. Let me check. I'm not sure. But let me find out. And so it was good. It was good. Not only that, like I said, I haven't been in the branch in years. And so it was not only me giving her information, she would explain to me things that they were doing in the branch that I didn't know of. So it was good. I mean, I'd do it again,
Okay.
you know.
All right. All right. I think your essay, it really showed that there was interaction between both of you, and there appears to be that there was some learning between, like you say, the front and the back office. And personally, I don't know about that aspect of working, just working for a cooperative. But it appears that you did a solid job on the essay from the outside looking in and listening to what the interaction between both of you were in regards to her. Even the experience of her wanting to come back to you, even after the program. I think that's key. That if they still want to follow through with what they were doing before, then I think that you haven't just gained a mentee, but rather a friend.
Right. That's how I felt in the end.
All right, Ms. Bullet.
Okay, Denise, let me just say that thank you for sharing your knowledge and the self-reflecting. I think that's powerful that you are able to look within and see what you have to offer, and hopefully, like they say, each one reach one. So, thank you for giving good counsel, training, and there's a lot of people, that's a big problem in corporate Bahamas now, that we hoard our knowledge and be afraid that the next person is going to take our place,
Our
or our job. And so very good. I would really like for you to attend one of the civic organizations, because I think you have a lot to offer, but you just don't know how much you have and how strong you are and how much knowledge you have. And so if you start at the level 1 and move all the way up, it'll help you gain more confidence to know that you are knowledgeable, and you have a gift of sharing and training, and persons, like it seems like you're almost so surprised that she was even receptive to you. So the more you train, the more confident you become, not cocky now, but confident, and
Right.
know what a gift you may have within. So very good, and thank you, and I hope you find somebody else, or if you do have the experience to train somebody else, be more confident with the gift that you have of sharing and your knowledge.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you too. Okay, very good. Kendra, anybody else has questions or concerns for Denise? No? Okay, Kendra?
I'm doing Yuri. Sorry, I'm assessing Yuri or Kendrick.
Yeah, but Kendrick, you're assessing Yuri. So, but Kendrick wanted to go next.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah. So we have Roseanne assessing Kendrick.
Okay. All right. Let me put you all on notice, my fellow roast masters.
Roseanne is not a roast master.
There was so much.
Not at all.
There was so much information that we covered. I couldn't put everything into it, but I tried to take the salient points and just put everything together. Okay.
It'll go easy.
Okay. Anyway, show me a successful individual, and I will show you someone who had a real positive influence in his or her life. I don't care what you do for a living. If you do it well, I'm sure that there is someone cheering you on or showing you the way. A mentor. This quote comes to us from a man who has won an Academy Award for Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Golden Globe Awards, NAACP Image Award, and many others. His name Denzel Hayes Washington Jr. He attributed his success to his many mentors he has had in his life. Initially, this assignment seemed to be daunting. However, every challenge will either break you or make you stronger. My mentee is a young lady, 28 years old, who I will refer to as Rachel Robinson. Mrs. Robinson desired to improve her knowledge in financial management, budgeting, and investment. Firstly, we start with financial management, which is defined as the process of planning funds, organizing available funds, and controlling financial activities to achieve the goal of an organization or an individual. When the discussion began, she immediately targeted the point of planning of funds. Ms. Robinson indicated that very few of her peers actually plan any of their funds. In addition, she outlined that she would only make plans for selected aspects, her investments. Perhaps this was the norm for most millennials. Furthermore, she also has a small craft business that she operates as she is currently
Hi, if is Kendrick is
Went off?
stuck.
His mic,
Sorry.
his internet free, yeah.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
internet. Okay. Okay, hopefully he'll come back.
Everybody just on the line.
Okay, hopefully he'll sign out, but let's just give him a few minutes. I hope it didn't PPL because the current been off most of the day.
So in situations like this, like how should we react? Because like the world changing now, so these technologies like bound to fail. So you like bounce back quick from that.
Yeah, I guess we have to have backup soon. soon, soon. We have backup systems. Okay. Okay, he may have having a bigger problem. So, Yuri, you want to go next?
Right, yeah, I'll step in.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh
and
wait, hold
Denise
on.
He's back on.
No.
Hey, Miss Bullet, 1 second, it's Kendrick. I'll let you know what happened. 1 second.
Okay. Okay.
He said PPL turn his light off in
Whoa,
the
you
area, so
call it.
I don't know why.
You didn't call it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So tell him tell him check back if he can send. We'll check back at him with about when everybody else is finished to see if he can come back in.
Okay, Kendrick, we'll check back. Wait. Okay, no problem. Okay, bye. Mhm. Okay, that's good. Okay.
Okay. So Denise, you'll critique Yuri.
Okay.
All right, good night all. So I'll just get right into it. So BPL don't target me now.
Before we have to
I
reschedule
scared
this whole
right
class.
I think I wanted to go first.
Class, right?
I know BBL was acting up today.
All
Not
day,
me,
all day.
Okay, so I've been employed in the workplace for almost a decade now in the bank. My initial intentions were to move up the corporate ladder to eventually experience managerial positions. However, only positions that wouldn't have to require me supervising anybody. So simply because my work style is predominantly independent, meaning I would go for positions such as like human resources as a passion of mine, or be a client relationship manager, whereas I have like that one-on-one interaction with like high value clientele. I would definitely prefer to be in this environment working with minimal supervision over me and anyone else. My beliefs as they stand that once I have myself in that environment where I am alone and focused, I would be sure that my work completed in a timely fashion or even before the time is due. But in life, the only thing constant is change. And that's just what occurred to me in November 2020. And it was a total surprise. A special project has been implemented at work. A mass debit card transition is set to take place, which requires frontline personnel to update all their account profiles onto KYC standards if client had actually accepted to have their debit cards changed over. Realistically, the process is tedious as special attention to detail is required. In addition, efficiency and speed will be considered a plus due to the fact that the operating process takes some time to be completed. It takes approximately 45 minutes for the average representative to complete. Me, however, I'm one who really don't have the time to wait because other than servicing clients from walking into the branch, I also have emails to action, requesting from external channels, and complete additional requests given from my direct supervisors and managers. So the bank decided to assist with the workload of this new work process to add contractual workers to the complement for a period of 3 months. These new contract workers were off the street, meaning they will have to be trained due to having minimal experience in the financial industry. Now, I'm assuming since I'm just a mere frontline worker, that it will be my direct supervisor's responsibility to show the staff the ins and the outs of the workplace culture. But that wasn't so. The two new contract workers were given to me without my consent to train them. So here I am, both infuriated and overwhelmed because, as I had initially discussed, I have a lot of work to do already. So how is it now that added to my responsibilities of servicing clients that I now have to supervise not one, but two persons who know not one thing about the bank? I wouldn't even make remarks relative to saying such as challenge accepted because it was never an interest of mine to supervise anybody. However, if I were ever to find myself on a job, I have to perform other duties assigned, even though it is not included in my job description. So I will be sharing light on my experience with interacting with these two new employees, the great, not so great, and determine if the supervisory hat will be able to fit within my concrete work style. First, let me give an outlook of who it is that I actually had to mentor. So I won't use their real names, I'll just give character names. So the first one is Miss Brown. Miss Brown is a mother in her early 30s with a young daughter attending private school. Miss Brown became a new employee after being recently furloughed from a popular hotel resort as a spa technician. She confirmed that she has no experience working in a bank, and she took on the opportunity because it was one of the it was one of the first to call back of many jobs she had applied for during the pandemic. So being unwavering, she took the job not knowing that she would return, that a call would be returned to her to go back to the hotel. Miss Brown is Miss Brown has a very quiet personality. She's respectful, helpful, and highly inquisitive. Very chatty, so please note that all isn't perfect with her. Joining Miss Brown will be Mr. Jacobs. Mr. Jacobs' characteristics differ highly from Mrs. Brown in noticeable ways. He is in his late teens and fresh out of high school. His personality is internally urban, wrapped in bourgeois that couldn't hide. In addition, he's very hyper and humorous. The first time meeting them both went fairly well. They both get along with each other, which makes the job a bit easier for me in most instances. Despite them getting along fine at our initial meeting, knowing that they originate from totally different demographics, their ideals, perspectives, and values would clash from time to time. This experience for me was new to deal with. For example, when it was time to actually show how to interact with clients on professional model, it would be easier for Ms. Brown to regurgitate the script after giving the example because of experiences of working in the hotel industry. Therefore, she has the expectation of dealing with clients seamlessly. Not really, not really clients, but guests that usually would travel from all corners of the earth. In addition, in a spa, guests are very in a very like vulnerable environment, so excellent treatment is top priority in this sense. However, when it came to Mr. Jacobs' time to reiterate the example for the customer interaction process, it was really rough around the edges, seeing that it was ever his first time being in the workplace environment. So since that occurred, Ms. Brown would tease Mr. Jacobs on his reaction. I really wanted to join in with the jeering, but I too had to remain professional and coaching him. I wanted him to do the job properly at the end of the day and to gain the confidence within himself to perform on his own. And, and by instinct, interacting with them brought me back to the time when I first joined a bike and I didn't know anything. My supervisors in my career were very patient with me since my education background was from another field. So those experiences of imparting empathy, I wanted to mimic, as it has made me a proficient asset on the workforce to this day. So I wanted both Miss Brown and Mr. Jacobs to have positive experiences as I taught them how to perform in the workplace. As a result, I can honestly say that I had gained their trust. I felt like a big brother to them both. I even titled them as Hansel and Gretel of the workforce because they were so green in the fields, I could be easily influenced to be led astray. Yet in all challenges, they are able to work together as if they were siblings. The mentorship experience is still continuing because not only me find fulfillment working along with the new addition. The branch manager had made remarks on their progress openly. He highlighted their forward-thinking characteristics and their ability to stay engaged in a brand new environment. As a result, he had requested that their contract be extended for an additional 6 months, and the request was approved. Now they are working comfortably along the lines of their job function and are acquiring new skills in the field, such as account opening and resolving customer inquiries. Overall, mentoring both individuals has been a rewarding experience and has changed my outlook on actually becoming a supervisor. It is peculiar how one would think that their life would be planned and unplanned circumstances come into play and changes the outward perspective. Now, if I must be a credible supervisor, I have to acquire more training by ensuring I'm well versed in new processes and procedures. In addition, enhancing my social skills and being open to be a better team player. And that's my mentorship account for the past, I guess, 6 months instead of 6 weeks.
Okay,
That's me.
so overall, I enjoyed it. It was very engaging from the beginning to the end. I like the humor that you had in there. And as you was reading, I was actually picturing Miss Brown, and and I was imagining Jacob Justin and roughing up the customers, not intentionally, but it was good. So I like how the whole situation changed your mind in terms of supervising. You know, all my life I've known you to be a loner, and that has worked for you. And so the experience kind of opened your eyes and kind of, did work to that way. But I enjoyed the essay. It was good. And, I don't know, anybody else? I mean, I enjoyed it overall. It was very engaging for me.
Thank you. Anybody else? Late on set.
No,
Very
wait.
good, Yuri. Very good,
Oh.
Yuri. Can you, in terms of trust, how did you build trust with these persons, or was it just work related and so they were assigned to you, and so did they know they were a
I
part of
guess
your project as well, or no?
no, everybody just like everybody just crashed at once, but when it was decided that this is your actual go-to person, and I just had to like I just had to just change my like I just had to open up myself more. And when I opened up myself more to become like more approachable, they just kept coming to me for like with questions. And when I felt comfortable like answering them, and every time I would finish answering the question, I asked like, did you have what I say? Did you understand it? Did you want me to repeat again? And every time like they left to go do it, I was like, if you ever feel stuck with anything, like don't ever hesitate to come, because I leave myself as an open door. So I just open up myself. And so I think with me opening up myself to them, actually build that trust between us. So as a result of that, they actually came to me with like with their personal experience that they had like on their past jobs, or like Miss Brown, how she would like interact with her daughter, or Mr. Jacobs of how we like did things in high school and like things in that weekend. And so we would just like share stories amongst ourselves. So we actually like created like a little unit. So I think you just have to open up yourself as a supervisor, just accept anything and just correct what needs to be corrected.
Okay, good. And that's a good thing too, because a lot of times persons think that, you come with the proper training, and luckily for Ms. Brown, she had worked in the hotel, and so she would have been used to that, I guess, blow away the customer type of motto and atmosphere, and a very customer savvy environment. Whereas Mr. Jacobs, you said he came from high school, so sometimes we take it for granted. If we were never in the environment, we don't know, or we haven't been trained yet to offer like good customer service. So it's good that, you were able to, help him or show him what the proper skills are, and how you react with the customers. So very good, because sometimes persons will just go behind their backs and talk about them, say, my God, look how Jacob talked to the customer, and Jacob could be going home after this 6 months. So please don't be afraid to speak up when you see somebody doing something wrong. At least give them the benefit of doubt. Perhaps they were never in this environment and they don't have this training, and so we think that we just woke up like this, right? We woke up one day and we knew all of this. No, but we would have been in the proper environment. So make sure the young people have a chance, and we correct, like I say, privately or empathetically, or what is wrong, and help them get to the next level. So good, very good.
Right. I was going to add that it's like when you correct, you don't want to do it like with malice or openly to try and embarrass them, because like the world is round, so you want to be like in a new position, so you need to like be empathetic as well. So yeah. And one thing I did learn, like even when you're like teaching somebody, the learning comes back to you. I had a experience with Mr. Jacobs. It was just something simple, but I just found it so profound. We was just copying identifications, and the way I initially was copying identifications, it took me like 2 steps to get like the IDs on one page. But he was like, "Oh, Yuri, let me show you something." I figured out like how to get the IDs on both sides, but you don't have to do like much like configuration. So he showed me, like you put the IDs and you change some settings on the front off, and like both IDs came on one page, and I didn't have to do additional steps. So even though you're teaching somebody, like new learning experience could come from those that you're training. So that's something you could take as well during your mentorship.
Correct. Okay. Learning is a two-way street, and you can be receptive on both ends. But a lot of times our ego just gets in the way, and you say, no, I don't want to do it that way. I know why I'm doing it this way. We make up some falsehood and some excuse, because we do not want to accept that somebody below us would have, or on a lower level. So always, you have to be receptive to everybody from all areas of the institution, and that's how you become a good leader. So very good that you accepted that, and you said thank you, and I appreciate you. Oh, you back. Okay, good.
Don't laugh.
Kendrick.
Laugh.
Pay a bill next time, Kendrick. Pay a bill.
Pay my bill? Pay on me. Pay on me.
I know, I just a joke, just a joke. I know you can have
Oh,
the
Kendra, you still the roast master, say.
Oh, I'm a roast on online when I'm finished.
Okay.
The class finished?
Right.
Yeah, I'm a
Right.
roast.
Okay, Yuri, thank you. And sometimes, like I said, you may have to supervise, you may be on the entry level or in an entry level position, but you supervise up. So, and respectfully, brainstorm and share your knowledge. Don't say, oh, that's out of my pay scale, or that's her job, or no. Everybody should come together as a team and brainstorm and make a contribution. So very good. And supervisors must then be receptive as well and accept that information and not let the ego get involved. Okay, so good, excellent, Yuri.
Thank you so much.
Kendrick, I don't know where to even let you start. I have some notes though. You did the Denzel Washington quote. You talked about Lady Robinson. Then you said you were discussing financial management, and she had a craft business. That was the last thing I got.
Yeah, you want me to pick up from there, or you want me
Yes,
to just?
please. Yeah. Yuri just finished. So.
Okay. Furthermore, she also has a small craft business that she operates as she's currently unemployed. Mrs. Robinson was weak in the area of organizing funds, as she would allow resources from the business to become commingled. The recommendation that was given to her was to separate the funds and have two ledgers. Secondly, the topic of budgeting was discussed. Budgeting is defined as an estimate of income and expenditure for a set period of time. Mrs. Robinson indicated that she had never done a major budget. Being privy to this information, the next 2 weeks were dedicated to budgeting. For homework, she had to prepare a budget. In addition, we watched videos on YouTube on budgeting. The next session, she presented a budget that included the following: tithe, gasoline for her car, and contributions to her investments. Due to her unemployment, her list was relatively short. However, she also indicated other items that would be included on a traditional budget, such as light, water, cable, cell phones, savings, credit card, groceries, and life and health insurance. Finally, we discussed investment. Rachel appeared to have some ideas of investment. She has an annuity, a participating life insurance that will generate dividends with 2 separate local insurance companies. In addition, she has a BGRS portfolio, Bahamas government registered stock. The challenge or the discouragement in this area is the process of trying to get a home. We analyzed what an individual would need to obtain a mortgage with a local financial organization. We examined an example of borrowing $135,000 with an interest rate of 7% and having to come up with the down payment of $15,000. Combined with the upfront fees that the institutions would charge, these figures seem to destroy the notion of home ownership. The payment schedule for the first 2 years was examined as well, and she was in total disbelief. This was difficult for Rachel, who made, before losing her job, $45,000 a year. Mentorship is a privilege that should not be taken lightly. I felt honored to have built trust with Mrs. Robinson, who felt comfortable enough to disclose such sensitive information. The advice and guidance offered in formulating budgets, both personal and business, will benefit her in years to come. Perhaps the point is given on separation of funds derived from her business will also prove beneficial. This experience has been both eye-opening and rewarding.
Okay, thank you, Kendrick. Roseanne?
Okay, well, Kendrick always is a good speaker. I like the way that he did his. His is more and informative, but it wasn't really long and it wasn't boring. Like he had some good points would that would you could also take to from if you wanted to do a budget too. So I think he did a very good job.
Yes. Okay, Roseanne, thank you so much for that. Yes, Kendrick, and I appreciate that you saw it as a privilege, as mentoring as a privilege, that, you know, somebody is receptive to your knowledge, and that you felt that it was a privilege to share. Again, like I said, in the corporate world, in corporate Bahamas, persons are hoarding information or they are keeping it to themselves. They do not want to, you know, reach the next person to help them climb up the ladder. And so it takes each one of us to feel like passionate about what we do to make a difference. So thank you for that. Okay. Anybody else has questions for Kendra?
Kendra, you will go over that home ownership thing again?
You need some tips,
Forward. Okay. What we initially did is that we took a mortgage calculator. You could basically go online. Well, I think I did it with the Pew. And the example that we, you know, because you know you need your down payment, you need your bank indemnity fee, you need or your first year insurance fees. And as I went along, the fees that would be needed and that would be expected, the recording fees, and lawyers charge 1.5 to 2.5% of the total mortgage for their fees. She became totally discouraged. And the example that we use is basically just coming down with a down payment of $15,000 on a mortgage, or borrowing on a mortgage that was 135, and the interest rate of 7%. And when she saw the first 2 years of the mortgage in regards to the payment schedule and what actually went to principal and what actually went to interest, she was totally when I tell you totally demoralized, totally. And when I looked at mine personally, it does kind of destroy you to see the amount of money that goes towards interest compared to your principal, and your first 5 to 10 years, you really scratching all of this out right here, trying to understand why you spending all of this money on a mortgage, and it seems as if the balance isn't going anywhere. But she is a young lady who had recently just got promoted to the point where she was making $47,000. Because when she told me that, I'm like, excuse me? Excuse me, you made how much? But unfortunately, because of COVID, she's on the unemployment line, but she has a craft business that she's really excelling and doing some awesome work in. And I just basically tried to guide her into just not allowing her business and her personal resources and co-mingling together, to track your finances, to track your resources, and to plan things out. You got to separate them. And then we didn't even get a chance to going into actually formulating an income statement for the business, and actually working with that and trying to work out where your inventory is going, where you're paying yourself, and what other charity aspects you wanted to include in your business for donations and such forth. Sorry.
Yeah, and the government has some initiatives out right now. I don't know if they're going to come to fruition. I can't tell you, but they are offering lots. They have a Carmichael Road development where the lots are $15,000 to $20,000 or $30,000, and then most recently he came out with some lots for professionals, which are right behind the Ministry of, what is it?
National Security.
National Security, right? And so
Kendrick shaking his head, Miss Bullet.
I see you shaking your head, but Kendrick, I mean, it's never been done before. It's a good initiative.
Same playbook.
Same
playbook, Mama's Bullet.
I would take
in the same playbook. That's different.
I say to you, you learn it, ladies. You're learning, ladies. Mortgage Corporation. How many millions in regards to mortgages are actually in default because government uses it as their personal piggy bank And I be to
Oh wow.
actually
Oh wow.
pedal.
We going there.
We go in there 2016, 2017, where's the $40 million was placed in. See,
but
I'm gonna
okay.
behave. I'm gonna behave. Let's
No,
continue.
I agree with you 100%, and that's what happens. However,
I'm gonna drink some Gatorade.
If that's what's gonna happen, I would go to their process and then go to another bank and have them pay it off. But just like you said, when you look at your principal versus your interest, all banks have their system. When they give you this amortization schedule, they have that set up in their system, because should you default and they have to take you to court, the court does not allow the person to pay back interest. They only allow principal. So that's why in the first few years of your mortgage, when they know, you would have just gotten the house and, you're all excited and you can make sure you're probably comfortable and you can make sure those payments come in, they try to get the bulk of their interest in case you should default. And so that's all bank systems are that way. So yes, you will cry for at least the first 10 years of your mortgage if you have a 20 or 30-year mortgage. That's just how it is. Because if you default, they don't get their interest. But Kendrick, again, the worst they can tell you is no, you won't have no ramifications. I mean, nothing gonna happen to you. Good if they can't, Bahamas Mortgage Corporation, they can't account for none of the money or none of the loans. And so how they can make you pay a payment? That's the ideal place to go and get a mortgage for them to say they don't have nothing on record or on file, but you live in your house.
Hold on, Ms. Fuller, let me share something. When I was seeking a home, and this is my story. When individuals size you up, when you walk through the door, they size you up. They get all of your particulars. They know how much money you have. And then somebody says to you, you need to go and get a letter from your MP. What does that tell you?
They need to secure the vote, Kendrick. Listen to me. They need to secure the vote. You play the game. When you walk in there, nobody knows who you vote for. I could go get 10 letters from my MP. You need a letter from my MP? Here you go. When I go in there and mark my X, nobody is in there with me. Okay, you all never said I had to vote, right?
That is not true.
That is not true.
That is not true.
The ballot has a number.
At the bottom in red, and they can challenge your vote.
No,
they can challenge your vote.
Okay, but I already get my letter.
Wait,
Nobody
what?
said.
You can get your letter.
No, y'all said go and get the letter from your MP. Nobody said for your vote. They said go and get the letter. So exactly, I went to my MP. I don't. No, say what you mean and mean what you say. Go and get the letter. Ms. Bullitt went and got the letter. You never mentioned anything about my vote.
But this is the thing. If I come to you, I have the prerequisites. I have everything there. My resources, everything is in order. Why do I need to go to an MP to get a letter from him in order to further my application?
The system is corrupt.
You know something?
The system is corrupt.
In the famous voice of Seth Rollins on WWE, we need to burn it down. Seriously.
Well, this is why
we need to burn it down.
And start over, right? And that's why
Because
we're here. And make sure, Kendrick, I want to see you in the next couple of years. I say, okay, I'm sure this person will act ethically, make the right decisions, put the money where it's supposed to go. That we have to change the players. We have to change the players. That's all we can do. And I'm sorry. I don't care for the F&M, I don't care for the PLP, and I definitely don't care for Blinken being them and their foolishness. Okay? Foolishness.
So hold on, DNA means do not attempt, by the way.
Oh, well, I
was waiting for DNA.
Let me tell you why the DNA, I used to support Brian McCartney, but he did all that mess. Yeah. None of them. No, there are some good politicians, and I told somebody this today. I would vote for Glennis Hanna. I would vote for Chester Cooper. I would vote for Leslie Miller if he was running. I would vote for Shannon Dore Cartwright. No, the Shannon Dore Cartwright guy. I would vote for him. He's in Barnabas.
Some persons that you would vote for is just
on each side and make it a mix so it could be everybody will keep everybody accountable. I don't think there should be all the PLP or all the F&F, but There
Fuller.
are some that do it. I live in Elizabeth. I am not gonna vote for Dwayne Sons.
Anyway,
I am
Why?
not.
Miss
He
Fuller,
is,
Miss
he's a
Fuller,
photo
what?
op. He is a
Miss Fuller?
photo op. He likes to be on TV.
Huh?
I don't see anything. I would vote for Fred Mitchell.
Okay. Oh, hold on, I got it.
I'm sorry, Fred has done a lot for the Fox Hill community.
I
Before
would
I was
vote
in
for Fred too if
Elizabeth,
I
I
lived
was
in
in
Foxton.
I was in Fox Hill before they split us and put us in Elizabeth. You know, so I voted for Fred, but I do not support the PLP. So
Miss
it
Fuller.
just depends.
So,
Yes.
so you think
Who's
it's best
next?
that we done away with parties?
Miss
Sorry,
Fuller.
Yuri.
You think it'll be best if we just be done away with parties?
It can't happen because
Yes,
the
I
problem,
do. We'll let everybody run
That
for
can't happen
independent.
though.
it can't
Why
happen.
not? Why? You
Because-
let everybody run for independent.
No, I think what you have to change is from the Westminster system to a republic
Yeah,
style
that's
system
the first thing.
of where you have, like the United States, you have the 3 separate houses. You would need that your president is voted for independently.
Yeah.
Wherever
Okay.
you vote
Okay.
for the president independently, and then you would have your House, your Senate,
Not the whole
and
party.
your
Yeah.
judiciary. And you can have independent candidates as well, because the local government nonsense, I see what they get on with. Because if you bring in a republic style of governance, you would need members of parliament almost. You would have to,
No.
everything is restructured,
Yeah.
because then you would have to have city councils, and you would have to have a mayor and a governor, and all of these different aspects are responsible for state to state or island to island.
Ireland.
Island,
The
yeah.
problem is that we have such a deep rooted foolishness in regards to corruption. The corruption is just,
Yeah.
I
we
stood
do.
the road traffic today and I watched people taking things on the side. I'm like, and
Yep.
these people ain't hiding it.
No, they.
Guilty,
But
guilty.
wait, 1 minute.
Guilty,
because I think-
guilty.
Wait, I think it was, somebody was asking
Miss
me who's
Fuller.
next. Who was asking me who's
Danielle.
next? Daniel?
Well, no, I sent you an email, but I'm not home at the moment. I'm in my car and my phone is on 1%. I don't know.
That's
If
enough
I
time
can-
for you.
I'm trying to charge it now, but I don't know, my charger isn't working. I have a tiny emergency. So I don't know if it's possible if I could do my presentation and leave, because my phone
Okay.
is not charged. So
Well, okay, let's see, let's see if you can get through it. Go ahead.
Pretty be easy.
So wait, because Daniel wasn't here, let me see who I had to critique. 1 second, Daniel.
okay.
No, Daniel. Okay, Fabian, can you critique Daniel, please?
Okay.
Is Fabian there? Okay, good. Go ahead, Daniel.
Oh, okay. Oh, we ready now. Hold on. Sorry. I just had to pull it up on my email though.
Okay.
Okay. I can start now.
Yeah, are you able to turn on your camera?
I can, but I'm just in my car, so let me just make sure nothing's in the background. Hopefully my phone isn't gonna cut off. I would have sent you an email though. You guys can see me?
Yes.
Okay. So I have to read from something else, if that's okay. I don't know if I could do it off both phones. Okay, so I'll just start. Okay, mentorship is a protective relationship in which a more knowledgeable or experienced person guides and nurtures the professional development or growth of another. Its focus goes beyond learning specific competencies or tasks and builds a climate of trust so the mentee can feel secure to seek advice on issues impacting their professional success. Mentorship achieves its goal primarily by listening to empathy, sharing experiences, developing insights to the achievement of self-driven goals. As such, the relationship is mentee-driven with a clear definition of goals and expectations that are mutually agreed with the mentor. It is attentive to the mentee's values and needs it is attentive to the mentee's value and needs and respectful to the mentor's time, resources, and experiences. When I first found out that I would be mentoring someone for this course, I thought, I thought that this might be a real challenge for me. I had no idea who I could possibly mentor. I decided to mentor the sister of a close friend who had graduated high school 2 years ago and decided to join the workforce while going to college part-time. At first, Sasha was very quiet and shy. While this is not necessarily a bad thing, it was harder to help her and keep a conversation going. I realized that it was a natural thing because once I got to know Sasha, she could not stop talking. Conversations flew and our time together became very enlightening. The more that Sasha and I were able to learn about each other, the easier it was for me to connect with her and guide her more. First and foremost, with each meeting, we both learned something about each other. In the beginning, we got to learn about our likes and dislikes with work and other activities. As we begin to dive deeper into our career aspect, the experience started to evolve into a greater learning environment. I was able to help her balance her schoolwork with her life work. Her enthusiasm towards my recommendation displayed her dedication towards having a life balance between work and school. She was never afraid to ask questions, no matter the topic. If she found an issue, she would ask me for guidance on how to solve it. Even though I did not know all the answers, I tried to give her the best advice that I could share. From this, I realized that this is an area I could work on for myself. Time after time, I find myself struggling to figure out a solution to my problems, work-wise or just regular life, and find that I either pass it over or tell myself I will come back to it. It is evident that no one knows everything, and in order to excel and learn more, I must look for help elsewhere. Personally, because I have been employed with my job for over 13 years, I find myself somewhat complacent with my job. The biggest help was watching the pride and enjoyment Sasha takes in learning new things at her job and always putting her best foot forward. This helped me to refocus and realize while I was performing, I could still give more at work. Aside from academics and work, Sasha and I constantly discuss romance novels and other various shows that she liked to watch in her spare time. I enjoyed sharing different authors and shows with her. Due to our weekly meetups, we spent a good amount of time eating and talking about our personal issues that were also occurring. I felt special knowing that she did begin to trust me enough to open up in the ways that she did with her personal matters. I know for her it was hard because of her being quiet and guarded. I know that it was hard because of I know for her it was hard because of her being quiet and guarded. It's easier for me to understand how she was feeling because of my past experiences. Sasha's choice to express her feelings enabled me to share some of my personal life with her. Essentially, this experience has opened my eyes greatly. One thing I have recognized through this project is my procrastination dilemma. I was able to come up with more ways to help me to avoid putting off certain situations. Sorry, Ms. Bullock, do you mind just give me one moment? Hi, I in a class right now. I'm coming in 2 minutes. Sorry about that. Essentially, this experience has opened my eyes greatly. One thing that I have recognized through this project is my procrastination dilemma. I was able to come up with more ways to help me avoid putting off certain situations. On a more positive note, the mentoring experience has also helped me identify my strengths. In time, I was able to display my leadership characteristics and really focus on making sure our interactions were interesting and productive. I also realized that positivity and enthusiasm are great to understand a different point of view, as negative thoughts will only lead to a negative outcome. Most importantly, I learned that I must believe in myself and trust what I do. The only way for me to improve is to learn from the mistakes that I have made. Now, I'm open to questions because I know my write-up was a bit big once I listened to everybody else's. So Fabian, you have any questions for me?
No, I don't have any questions. I just I could say it was a bit vague. I just would have liked to know what she would have gotten from
From it.
that, like her accomplishment or how she improved, you know?
Okay. Yeah. So I will answer with vague. So based on my mentorship of her. So like I said, she is my friend's sister. So she recently joined the workforce. So beforehand, she was working to McDonald's and she didn't really have the feel of a office life. Oh shit. Bang, just like that.
Hello, I don't know if she got
So her phone, I
disconnected.
think her phone
Oh,
died.
it died. Okay, that's fine. We'll just, yeah, excuse that. But, you know, please try to prepare yourself for class. Kendrick is a good thing she wasn't in that Toastmasters class, right? Kendrick still there? No. Okay, good. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so oh, I don't know. Okay, thank you, Fabian. I think Roseanne was going to be next. I don't know if Roseanne wants to go next or Fabian.
I can go next.
Okay, go ahead, Roseanne.
Okay. You can see, you can still see me, right?
No, we can't see you. You went off the screen.
Oh, I trying to see how I could read it now because I actually
Sorry.
didn't have it printed out.
Good night.
I don't have it printed out. So I just was
Okay,
doing it from the phone.
you want to turn on your light or?
Hold on for me. Let me turn it on.
Okay.
Good night, sorry, Miss Bullet.
Hi.
This is Tanya. I got back and I had to do something else.
Okay. I mean, if you're busy, we understand, Daniel. We'll pick up with you again next week, so you could go and do whatever you need to do. That's okay? Or you just want to finish? You have time to finish or no?
That's I actually do have to go inside, but I mean, I really do want to finish.
Okay, so go inside and see if you could catch us towards the end.
Okay, then.
Okay, good. All right. So Fabian, hold your questions till Daniel come back, please. Oh yeah, I think you had given us some comments. Yeah. Okay, good, Roseanne. We can see you good and clear. Very good.
You can see me now.
Well, I could have 5 seconds ago, but you're gone again.
That's what I saying because I
Right,
using the phone
Okay, I can see you
to
now.
read off of it. So when I go to pull it up, then I guess it's when y'all not able to see me. And I don't have another device
Okay,
to read off.
that's fine.
My apologies.
No, we can take your points off. We can take off
No,
your
you
points,
can't take off
but
the
not
points.
be. This better be excellent presentation. Then, if you
Okay.
and Daniel don't want to lose no points, because
Okay.
this is recorded, by the way, in case you didn't realize this.
Okay. Okay, let me start. Mentoring is sharing knowledge, skills, and life experiences to guide another towards reaching their full potential. It's a journey of shared discovery. Over the past six weeks, I have had the pleasure of being a mentor to a 17-year-old who is a part of my church youth development program called Soul Sisters. It was a very fulfilling experience. I not only got a chance to help another person, but so was I able to learn. 17-year-old Monique Thompson was assigned as my mentee. She was introduced by her mom and dad. We all attend the same church, Spirit of Life. She is a recent high school graduate and an aspiring cosmetologist. When I first met her, she was very shy, and so was I, being that it was my first time being a mentor. The first time we talked was at a youth group. I expressed to her that I would like to become a big sister to her, to have someone that she can confide in and look up to. We discussed peer pressure and what she saw for herself for the future. The first 2 weeks were very repetitive for us. Every morning I would send a motivational quotes and a scripture for the day. By the third week, Moni contacted me about helping her apply for trade school at BTVI. I discussed with her my personal experience having having attended there. Um, and I was able to give her what that I would felt would be the best options for her. This is when she began to open up. She told me about her desires to own a spa. Being a certified esthetician, me and her sparked a flame, and both of us began to grow a stronger bond. We discovered a lot of similarities between ourselves. Both of us were raised in Abaco, and both of us moved to Nassau in our teens. I also gained knowledge throughout the process from her, gaining some of my own self desires. Monique was kind in teaching me how to do a manicure and a pedicure. In exchange, I teach her how to wax her eyebrows. She also referred me to a local lash tech who would be able to teach me how to apply lashes. Um, me and Monique presently are planning a full spa days for all of the members of Soul Sisters. This is going to be a a great a great learning experience for both of us, because we will run our own spa for the day. Monique is a very good listener. I have given her a a a list of tasks to complete for the spa day, and she has done all of those things asked of her, and she even added on to different ideas for the spa day. Overall, I believe that mentoring is a very effective and exciting way to connect with others in the workforce. It also allows everyone involved to be relaxed and give a honest and positive attitude. It's Sam. I'm finished now.
Okay, thank you, Roseanne. And any questions for Roseanne? Because I think it would have been Danya to critique her, but Danya isn't here. So Roseanne, very good.
I'm so sorry about
again,
my speech because I have a stammer, but I just trying my best to really speak it.
Right, and that's fine. And again, just like Denise, I think you have a lot in you, and you just need the proper training, and you stay on the right track. And perhaps you and Denise need to get together and buddy up and attend Toastmasters. And I promise you, in a year or two, you wouldn't have a stammer and you would speak perfectly. But it takes courage when, and confidence, to still stand up and speak. And I always, I still remember your last speech. And again, I will remember this one because you leave a lasting impression. And it's not because, there are some impediments, but because you can see that if you continue to practice, you will be very good at it.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
So try to buddy up with Denise and you also go and practice, and then you, in a few years, you build up your confidence. So very good. And again, I am excited because it seems like everybody, it benefited them. It was not only the mentee that, found benefits in the mentorship, but each of you learned something new, or now that's a good business venture to, with this pandemic, there are no jobs. So you actually have to make a job, you know what I mean, if you want to survive. And then you would be now an entrepreneur, and you could eventually, after your business is established, you will hire a person. So I really do hope you go on to learn about the last billions of dollars in it, because all these ladies you see in this corporate world, you see Margaret, you see Denise, you see Dania, all of them, they hair, nails, and toes every 2 weeks. Sure. So you need to network, get the qualification or learn it, and then they'll be there to patronize you. So get their numbers. Don't let them leave this class without getting their numbers. Okay. And I hope all of you network together and help each other, in various different ways. Okay. Okay, great. Very good. Anybody else has questions for Roseanne? No? Okay, good. Very good. Okay, so we will have, let's go with Blakely, then Margaret, then Kanishka, then Fabian. And I think everybody, Margaret is going to do great. Blakely,
Ms. Paulette, don't put no pressure on me, please, because I'm
Margaret, we on the edge of our seats waiting on your presentation. So you're gonna go
my
now?
presentation is so long. I'm trying to compress now. So
Okay.
so too much, it wouldn't be too long. So
Yeah.
I here thinking how to compress it.
Yeah, Margaret.
Okay, so you want some more time?
No.
Okay,
No.
okay, so go ahead then. Go ahead. Just give us an overview and then we'll ask you the questions.
No, y'all, I'm Blakely, then Miss Margaret.
Okay, go ahead,
Blakely, then
Blakely.
turn the camera on. She
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
Okay, she ready. Okay, go ahead, Blakely.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
The person that I chose to mentor is a 24-year-old teller whom I currently supervise. For confidentiality, during my presentation, I will call her Simone. I had chosen Simone because during her short tenure with the company, she displayed an exceptional work ethic. She grasped all aspects of a job function rather quickly, and I knew very soon she would need a new challenge. I thought that the next and most fitting step for her would be an operations representative position. This position is essentially the teller's immediate supervisor. I knew that she had the competencies to complete the back office work of an operations representative. She, however, seemed to lack the confidence needed to be a leader. I decided that this would be the main focus of this mentorship. I had first approached Simone with the proposition of mentoring her during our second evaluation meeting. She was very open and excited about the opportunity. We decided that outside of our monthly assessment meeting for work, we would meet officially at the middle of the month to check in and discuss progress that is being made, any changes that she or I would propose, and just chat. During our first meeting, we decided that our focus would be on the following areas: leadership, time management, networking, and professional development. We discussed the opportunity for her to be groomed and trained to be a telesupervisor. While she seemed to be interested in the opportunity, she had a reservation. As we discussed further, I gathered that this stemmed from past experiences. At a previous place of employment, she had been in a similar situation, whereas she had been training to be a supervisor, but was never confirmed in the role, and they were passed on to persons whom had been newer than she was in the company. I thought that this was a great opportunity for me to share my past experiences in my banking career. I too had started off in the company as a teller, but much younger than she is. I was very good at my teller duties and was ready for the next challenge. In all honesty, I thought that I knew it all. I trained for a supervisory role, but was never confirmed and always surpassed by new employees. It was not until I was transferred to another location, worked an administrative role for a little while, and spent more time with persons who were actually supervisors and allowed them to pour their knowledge into me, that the opportunity finally came. What I did not have prior was the tools needed to lead. It was through this first shared experiences that we bonded, and she felt more confident in her ability to excel in the company. I asked her what form of communication she would prefer. Would she like? Oh yeah. I asked what form of communication she would prefer. Would she like she and I to comment and or address things as they presented themselves, or wait for us to have our official meeting and address them all at once? She opted for us to address them as they came, but to do so privately, which I agreed with. She was still fairly new to the company, so I decided that she was fairly new to the company, so I decided that firstly, she should learn as much as she could about it. People look up to and respect those that are knowledgeable. We started with the bank's product and services guide, and then the teletraining manual. This allowed her to be able to answer some questions her peers may have had before them being escalated to a supervisor. Next, I encouraged her to take charge on the front line and motivate her peers. She knew what her daily tasks were, therefore you do not need a supervisor to step in and tell you when to get them done. This included things such as ensuring that the cash is taken and prepared first thing in the morning. Other sundry duties are being performed during slow periods. Something that I noticed early on that Simone struggled with was organization and completing things that she started. She would be willing and eager to help, but would start things, put them away for later when the branch gets busy and not get back and complete them. She would also bounce from task to task as opposed to completing one, then moving on to the other. I decided that for this, we would meet so that we can sit down and discuss thoroughly. During our meeting, she admitted that this was indeed a challenge of hers. She had yet to create her own system, which allowed her to be as efficient as possible. I proposed that what she did was separate tasks based on priority and length of time it would take to complete them. Those that are high priority and took the least amount of time should be done first. Those that are more lengthy should be done when you can't commit the time to complete them. I told her to try to focus on one task at a time to ensure that it is being completed accurately. Multitasking is not always a great thing. In the event that a task will take longer than expected and you are not able to complete it, document where you left off, set a reminder on your work email calendar or cell phone to ensure that you pick back up as soon as you can, and advise whomever this task was assigned by. If the task is very pressing for them, it is important that they are aware of the progress so that they may decide whether to reassign it to someone else or complete it themselves. She told me that she really disliked not being able to complete additional tasks assigned. I reassured her that it is always more important for her to ensure that her primary job function is being performed, and then when she is given additional tasks, that they are not being rushed. Reasonable people would appreciate you updating them on the progress and letting them know when you are not able to complete it right away. The next time we met, we spoke about networking. I told her how important it was for her to put herself out there professionally and meet new people. Networking often leads to many great opportunities. She mentioned that her issue with this is not having much free time, but I assured her that she could find maybe 2 hours each month or every other month to attend some sort of professional social event. I do agree with the COVID With the COVID pandemic, socializing has changed tremendously, but there were still opportunities. Our company held a scheduled Zoom meeting with staff and the executive committee. I told her that she should prepare to have at least one question to ask during the meeting. This would allow her to introduce herself to everyone and set herself apart, seeing that everyone would most likely be sitting in the meeting with their mics muted. The day of the meeting, she told me that she was terrified and didn't want to sound silly somehow. I reassured her that she wouldn't. These were all her parents, most of whom she had seen before. She'd be fine. When it came time for her to ask a question, she was hesitant. Her voice shook initially, but she got it out, and it was a great question which sparked a great discussion. She told me that she felt great after speaking up in the meeting, and in the future, it doesn't seem as scary. The question she asked was, does the bank have a formal succession plan for millennials wanting to elevate themselves in the company? During our final meeting during the 6-week period, we spoke about professional development. I asked her to tell me the top 3 goals that she had for herself. She had told me that they were 1, lose 15 pounds, 2, read more often, and 3, learn a new language. Her first goal of weight loss was one that I knew I could help with, seeing that fitness and nutrition is a big part of my life. And it was something that I've successfully done. Knowing that weight is a very sensitive topic, I asked her if it was something that she'd be open to me providing suggestions and guidance, and also holding her accountable to. She agreed to it. I provided her with tips that she could use to start out with, made myself available for her to call or text anytime she had questions, and checked in on her to find out how it was going about twice a week. As for her second goal of reading more, I told her to quantify the goal, decide how much she wanted to read, and specify the amount of time. She came to the conclusion of 1 book per month. She decided that she would read a few pages each day, which would have her on track to completing a book within the month. Being a reader myself, I was able to suggest some good titles as well as lend her one of my favorites after finding out what she was interested in. And her third goal of learning a new language, we decided to start off with an app that allowed you to practice foreign languages and grasp the basics. She said later on she would invest in the Rosetta Stone program. I found that throughout the 6 weeks of mentorship, her favorite meeting seemed to be the one during which we talked about her personal development. I do believe that once she is on track with that part, everything else will be smooth sailing. As we work together and are in daily contact, our mentorship relationship will continue. I must say that this was a challenge for me. This mentorship assignment required me to hold myself accountable and ensure that I made all of my scheduled meetings. I had to make sure that I held myself to a high standard because I know that someone was watching me even more closely each day. I do believe that we both grew during this exercise, and I look forward to us both reaching the goals we have set out in the beginning of this. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Blakely. Margaret?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm not, I review it, Tanishka.
Okay, so is it Tanishka doing Blakely?
Blakely.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Tanishka.
I had to look at my paper. Hold on.
Okay, I have it
I
written
was
down and I
saying-
still call it Margaret name. Okay.
Why keep cutting this mic off? I mean, this thing. Well, overall, I think Blakely did a great job. It was thorough. I like how she went into identifying her mentee's goal. I think her suggestions to her mentee were very informative, and I know that she did well. The mentee meaning. That's all.
Okay, so thank you, Tanishka. Okay, excellent. Blakely, what I had hoped is that you all of you would have taken your mentee to your civic organization, and it would have been a first time for both of you, and you would have gotten your 5%. But you said it was a meeting, you did encourage her to speak up, and she overcame a fear. So that was excellent. And then I like the fact that even though most of us, we did work, you included the work-life balance, and you ensure that, she has proper balance, and the things outside of work that are important to her, like learning the language and exercising, that you would have assisted her with that as well. So very good, excellent. And they were my favorite parts, that you went a step further and, ensure that, she worked on her organization so she could get things done. And I just want to know, was it a difficult conversation? Because I know, like I said, we're very good at, complimenting and saying what is right, and when we do things right, giving accolades. But when it's time to have those difficult, tough conversations, we are a bit hesitant, and it's not as easy. So how was it when you spoke to her about not completing tasks?
It wasn't terrible. The worst part, she's very receptive to criticism, but she seems to be very hard on herself. So she just, with the bad, you always have to give her some praise, I found.
Yeah, the sandwich approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So very good. But again, please don't do a disservice to persons that we work with or who we are mentoring or supervising by always only telling them the good part. We always want to be sensitive, we want to be empathetic, and we want to speak compassionately and help them compassionately through whatever, needs to be fixed. So then that'll make them better. So don't forget, to have those tough conversations, but compassionately. So excellent, Blakely, very good. Thank you. Okay, so Margaret, is it your turn now? Or Tanishka?
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Go ahead,
I will
Margaret.
try. I will try not to be too long, because this
My
was
God,
Kendrick.
come on. I've been waiting on this for 2 weeks.
All night.
Put your video, turn your video off. I will
Miss
try not to
Fuller.
be long
Miss
and
Fuller,
just
who
give
am
an
I?
overview. I know
Who
there'll
am I
be plenty
critiquing?
questions.
Yeah, we have
but I
three.
will-
We have three left. We have Margaret, Tanishka, and Fabian. So Margaret, overview.
Yes,
who
okay,
I
I'm sorry.
critique? Yeah,
Oh, I
who
see
I
what you said,
critique?
the time. Okay. Yeah, let
Sorry,
me read.
Begin. Somebody else was saying something.
Oh, this Blakely want to know who am I critiquing?
Blake,
Okay,
oh,
you
I
could
don't know.
you critique Margaret, please.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I will try just give an overview, not be too long. I just see the time. So I had the pleasure of mentoring a young lady. I'm not gonna call her name. She is 27 years old. She came into our establishment. This process for me was very difficult because I am a naturally standoffish type of person. And I like to do things just me. So I don't like group projects, group work stuff with team members. No, I like do things by myself. That way everything gets done the way I want it. So this was difficult for me, like I said, and I think it was kind of difficult for the young lady as well, because she kind of standoffish as well. Anyway, so since I had to do this project for you, Miss Bullet, I had to go ahead and approach her. And she reluctantly said yes. The trust was not there at all. I didn't get any information out of her at the beginning of the process, because I figured we work in the same department and I could assist her with work stuff. And that's how it started. But because she was so standoffish, so quiet, I ended like offering her, like, let's go, for lunch, that kind of thing. And once I did that, I felt like she kind of opened up to me and conversation started to happen. So one day we were out having lunch and the conversation, I can't remember the conversation came up, but the conversation came about her not having a bank account of her own. So, Kenrick, didn't I tell you, Miss Bullet? Anyway, that conversation came up and I was like, a bank account of your own. Then I ended up asking her, like, how are you being paid? So she's like, me and my mom, we share a bank account together. So, I was well, I don't know how my poker face was, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to like scare her off because we were just getting in that trust place. So, you know, I kind of was shh, that kind of thing. And then I think the next week I end up asking her, you know, how can you know, why is this? Why don't you want to have a bank account of your own to be independent? And, you know, you work around so many independent women, you know, we have our own car, this, that, the next thing. Don't you want these things? Long story short, the issue was that with her is that she's lazy. So then really like the mommy was more like, you have to have my name, you have to be on this bank account, blah, 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 blah. They shared this bank account when she was younger. And she just never went into the bank and got a bank account of her own. Because to me, just laziness in conversation, just laziness. And I trust me, I did put myself all the way to meet her mom. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, Miss Bullet.
Okay.
And her mother wasn't, I mean, she looks like a little bit controlling, probably a little borderline, but it wasn't like overbearing, controlling to me. So, you know, I just took out again, you know, and that's a weekly thing we do now. So we actually still going out for a little lunch and stuff. And I encouraged her to open up her own bank account. And how I get to know she was lazy, Kenrick, is because when I took her to the bank, she almost wanted me to fill out everything for her. So, you know, I told her that wasn't going to happen. So I was there for moral support. So I went in and now she has her own bank account, the First Caribbean. I took her there. She have her own bank account, have her own bank card, that thing. And I even guided her through like almost talking to a conversation with her mom that, hey, mommy, this is this is my bank account. I want to get paid through this separate one. But, you know, I love you. I'm going to still support you and everything, that kind of thing. Because she come from a single parent home. So, you know, that, I mean, I don't come from that home, but you know, that kind of way mommy struggle to pay bills and do everything for you. So that was the thing between her and her mother. But I mean, the process, I feel like, you know, I got something out of it and she did. She has her own bank account now, like I said. And we also went to the credit union. So she now has an account to the credit union. And I just try to teach her steps in becoming more independent. I send her YouTube videos about independent women. I let her talk to other women around the office who are independent just to show her, hey, you know, mommy don't want to do every single thing with you. You know what I mean? Like if you want to travel, jump on the flight, go. You and your mommy, it's not normal for you and your mommy to be sharing one bank account. You know, she have a card, that kind of access. And, you know, I mean, I like the process. I want to continue with the mentorship. She knows that. And I want to work with her, I would say, until the rest of the year, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel it's like, it's fulfilling to me, you know, that I could teach someone something and they actually want to sit down and listen and learn. And she actually do, you know, making certain steps to, you know, do what, to take my advice. I like it.
And you see the progress.
Yeah, Miss Bullet, she has 2 bank accounts now. She have one to the credit union and one to CIBC.
Okay, very, very good. Excellent. Blakely?
No, Miss Bullet, you need to say Kenrick.
Kenrick on the edge is his chair.
Kenrick on the edge.
Blakely first. Let's go with Blakely and then Kenrick. Go ahead, Blakely.
So I enjoyed it. I think that the mentorship is definitely beneficial to her. And it will continue to be beneficial to her. That even though she's 27, we still encourage her to be more independent. But yeah, it was good. You definitely went the extra mile.
Yeah, I was like, no, I need to meet this mommy.
Yeah, you had to get the full story, right?
Yes, I just felt like I needed the full story. Yes, okay. Toastmaster Kenrick, because he can't.
Me? I know Toastmasters.
Okay, questions, queries?
You said she was lazy.
I felt, yeah, because it's like she almost, to me, I feel like she's one of those persons, her mother fills out if her passport needs renewal, her mom does that for her because she's just lazy.
Okay, so it's something that's been encouraged from the home, more or less.
I mean, encouraged from the home, but I don't know if I would use that word encouraged from the home, though, Ken. I don't know if I would use that term.
I kick you at the desk, what you got to do? You got to fly, right? Fly or die.
Well, that's true.
I keep you in the nest, then you ain't getting nowhere.
Okay.
Anyway, so you said all that I you know, because when you said that you discovered that she has a propensity for being very
Yes, that's why. Trust me, I put
thoughtful.
myself out the way to meet a mommy. Like I make sure I wait around the work when a mom pick up because I wanted to know.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Yuri, you're quiet because I
Okay.
hear all I hear Yuri is independent woman and independent.
Oh,
Yuri,
Yuri.
you're quiet. Yuri, you're quiet. That's okay, Yuri.
Kenrick,
But
I speaking for most of these women in this group probably. Okay, just so you know it.
Hey.
Oh, Margaret,
I
I'm very, go ahead, Kendra.
it ain't like you can get locked up for marching and protesting. It ain't like that. It ain't like that guy.
Margaret, I'm very proud that you feel empowered and then you are going to continue on and you may have that gift too of teaching and mentoring. And so, there are a lot of young women out there who need good and young men that need good counsel. And please, at first, like you say, you have to find out if the person is receptive and if they are receptive, and then there's something that you could help with. So go for it since you get fulfillment from it as well.
Yes,
So,
I really did.
so
Obviously.
good, very good. See, so Miss Bullet is make y'all do these things so it
Yeah,
will be
Miss Bullet,
beneficial.
honestly, I really did.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you. Very
Honestly,
good.
I did, yeah.
Okay, good.
Miss Bullard, can I ask just a quick question?
Yes, go ahead.
Customer service and marketing, is it like this?
It's similar. It's similar. Yeah. It's similar, Kendrick. Yeah, Miss Bullock give you all this work and stress you out. Yes. But at the end, you will say you would have learned something that you could take back and apply to your institution and to your life. Okay, that's the guarantee.
Margaret, which credit union, if I may ask, which credit union?
Workers Credit Union, Hall Road.
I'm joking, man. Let me see this.
Well, I can't tell her where to go. I mean, I don't know, Kenrick, one thing at a time. But one thing I would say that I really, really learned is that I think the office is very people feel that they can't be themselves in a work environment. So that's one thing I would suggest or recommend for when mentoring, to take them outside of the work environment. Because the minute we go and sit down for lunch, I feel like I know all the business after, 2 or 3 times. But in the office, she was not like that, so.
Yeah, so it's good that she could unwind and then feel like, okay, this is somebody
Afterwards,
I can trust,
unwind,
and I can
break
trust
bread.
Margaret, and I don't have a problem sharing. Yeah, food is always bring people together. Whenever it's a touchy situation, bring food. And if it's a real bad situation, you go on a cruise. Yeah, for true, it helps. No,
if it's a bad situation, what to do, Miss
if you're going through it, if you are in a, let's say a relationship, if you're in a relationship and you're about to get a divorce, go on a cruise. And if that cruise don't make you change your mind, then get the divorce.
Okay, why the cruise?
Okay.
Sorry, Kendrick, I have to ask. Why the cruise?
No, because you on the cruise, you don't know nobody else. And so even if you're an outgoing person who will take the time to go and get to know person.
It forces communication.
It forces communication, it forces closeness and all of that. And the same thing with food, you bring food, the party will start. It's just a cultural thing.
It forces people to throw people overboard too. But anyway, you lost the sense. But anyway.
Yeah, so let's use the good food and the food.
Exactly, Kendrick. Let's stay on track.
You go to. Right. Okay, so Tanisha, I am always conscious of the time. So what I'm going to say, I'm going to make a suggestion, and y'all can tell me is for Tanisha, Fabian, and I guess we're gonna hear some more from Danya next week, hopefully. I don't know if y'all wanna, because we're gonna have some time when we do the review. Do you wanna you wanna end now and you two can present next week, or you wanna do this now and get it over with? And
I'll get
the
it over.
review should take, you wanna get it over with?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, fine, and turn on your cameras, let's get it over with. I was just checking, just to make sure. Anybody else have questions for Margaret or? No? Okay, good.
Okay, y'all. Okay, so this is a condensed version. Okay, I chose my mentee because I see my younger self in her. Providing good counsel to the younger generation is paramount. My mentee is no stranger to me.
In fact, her mother is my best friend. She doesn't know that her mom confides in me regarding her. At first, it was difficult to gain her trust. The reason being is the relationship between be confidential. During our first session, I provided dinner at my house. We went over the object of our sessions. I made the session interactive by allowing her to present a topic of concern. She chose job security. Job security is no stranger in the workplace. Job security is the probability that an individual will keep their jobs. Our second session was completed over the phone. I explained to my mentee that it's normal to feel insecure on the job. I didn't pretend that I had it all together. I told her I struggled with job security at the beginning of the pandemic. Her response was epic. She said she would have never guessed. Upon being transparent, I noticed that she expressed her ideas freely. During the course of our sessions, she explained to me that she wants to be an accountant because I asked her her goals, her job-related goals, receiver goals. She mentioned that, money is not there. So I said, if you can't afford college, maybe you can volunteer at an accounting firm. She was amazed at that idea. After going over her goals, we outlined a plan to improve her confidence on the job. I told her that she has to make herself more marketable, cross-train in different departments, or ask your supervisor if she needs help with any of her tasks. This shows initiative. I told her in the event a position becomes available, her supervisor can recommend her. The overall feedback was positive. My mentee said she left with much needed insight. As for me, it reassured me that not only me feels that way, because like I explained earlier, I struggled with job security at the beginning of the pandemic. So let me know that I'm not alone. She started to take on new tasks at work. It was a great experience for us both. And here ends my overview of my mentor.
Okay, Margaret?
I like the topic that you used, the job security. And I liked all of the suggestions she gave her, Tanishka. I like all the suggestions you gave her about the cross training and asking her supervisor for assistance. I like that. I think that was good advice.
Okay, and Tanishka, also BTVI, and I know COB, you'll be sorry if you have the 5 BGCSEs, you get in there for, I don't know if it's just for new students or they have a program. It's just for new high school students, Margaret.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so what about,
they're not 100% tell her try it.
Yeah,
she
find out.
21.
Yeah, or she like 21. Okay, but BTVI has some programs as well, and they also offer a scholarship. It may not be the full, but yeah, so tell her, find out. And the apprenticeship program is very good, because I always see KPMG and EY saying that they're looking for, or Deloitte saying that they're looking for those apprentices. So let her dig a little further to see exactly what is offered. And even there are some accounts classes at the institute as well, and Miss Dean always offers like payment plans and what have you. So she perhaps could put something down and just get a feedback, get back into school, and then go from there. And about job security, I read an article. Yeah, I read an article that talked about job security, but it started off, it captured my attention because it said most CEOs would have worked at McDonald's, and I worked at McDonald's, so I was kind of proud, right? And so when I was like 50 and I was flipping the burgers, but they said most, like McDonald's has a good structure and it's a good
Mhm.
training ground for future leaders. So I was
Yes.
proud, and that's how I started to read it. And then it went on to talk about job security. And so it said, many persons will see as they move up the ladder, when you do become
Uh-huh.
an executive, sometimes you may have an executive, sometimes would only last 2 or 3 years. So as you move up the ladder, you may get less stability. So I wanted to, go and do some more research on that. But this is what this article was saying, that, the higher you get up the ladder, the more unstable, your job becomes at the executive level. So it's on, if you Google it, probably you can do some
Wow.
research on it to get
Mhm.
some answers. But I was surprised at that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
very
very
good.
surprising.
Yeah, very. I was surprised as well, but it on Google. If you put in this, most CEOs worked at McDonald's, it may come up. Or just put on job security at executive levels and see if it comes up to tell you about the stability
Okay.
as you get higher. Okay, good. Very good.
Okay.
Fabian,
Thank you.
is Fabian still there?
I'm here. Okay.
Okay. So Yuri, do you want to critique? Because I don't think you critiqued anybody. So Yuri, could you critique Fabian, please?
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
In life, there is always the need to elevate or improve oneself. Mentoring refers to a relationship where a person, or in this case, a senior employee, takes up the responsibility of grooming or training someone else. The main objective of mentorship is to help others, the mentee, attain psychological effectiveness and maturity. In the 1970s, mentoring was adopted as a career development strategy known as a cost-saving approach that has been universally applied to ensure continuous professional development. This paper evaluates the application of mentoring in the workplace in the role of a back office service representative. Initially, I would have liked to mentor someone out of the workplace. However, I was given the opportunity to train in a different department. I was leaving my current position as a back office representative to cross train as a senior associate working remotely with our Cayman Trust in the Cayman Islands. My supervisor asked me to choose someone to take my place during my absence. I chose to train our cage teller, who's been with the bank for 6 years. I recall the conversation I had with her, and she had mentioned how she was becoming bored and also felt insecure that her role would be made redundant given the digital adoption initiatives that the bank was introducing. Although my colleague is a customer service officer like myself, due to the bank combining the roles last year, she was formerly a teller, but the bank combined both customer service and tellers roles. She lacked the knowledge and skills of a customer service representative. My main focus was to ensure that she was fully equipped and able to operate the desk of a back office representative, and ensuring that she felt comfortable and not afraid to speak up and ask any questions or matters that were unclear to her. We didn't do any hands-on tasks during the first 2 weeks, as this was focused on retaining information, taking notes, on communicating, and observing. I made sure to explain everything in detail and always end the communication. I made sure to explain everything in detail and always end by asking, is there anything else? Is there anything you're unclear about? Or would you like me to go over it again? What worked best for her with jotting down notes so that she can look back to ensure that she is doing everything correctly. During the third and fourth week, we reversed the roles, and I observed her while she sat and carried out the duties. Duties like completing the daily package report, paying bank bill payments, completing, clearing, and ensuring that it's balanced at the end of the day, completing requested bulk transactions from both business and personal clients. This would sometimes include multiple drafts or wire requests, which would be 15 to 20 requests per client. telephone and email etiquette, filing and boxing paperwork, safety deposit box annual reconciliation, completing requests from law firms, and also assisting the front line when needed. This role consisted of learning how to multitask and working with a lot of interruptions. She struggled at first and often felt overwhelmed. One of her major weaknesses was email etiquette and formulating emails. There were times when she would forget how to do certain things, but she could always ask for assistance. Along with our open and honest communication, the feedback I received allowed me to acknowledge my mentee's strength and weakness, which helped us to work on areas where she fell short. A successful relationship between a mentor and mentee requires a high degree of trust from both parties. We not only covered work-related topics, but spoke of personal life matters. She would often ask for advice on budgeting and spending. During the 5th and 6th week, we had a few setbacks. I left the branch to my new posting earlier than expected, and that cut our training short. Leaving put a strain on our communication. Nonetheless, we found a way to make it work and communicated via our work Skype platform and emailed each other back and forth. By the end of the training period, I was completely satisfied with the end result of the mentorship. My mentee met the development goals that was established at the beginning of the relationship. I was confident with ending the mentorship as she had the necessary knowledge required to perform her daily duties. What I loved most about this pairing was that it was beneficial to both parties. When you've been working in the same organization for a while, you tend to become more laid back and develop different ways or shortcuts in carrying out your tasks rather than doing it how it should be done. This allowed me to revisit some of our procedures and policies because I couldn't teach her my way, but rather the right way. So it was quite the refresher for some of the things that I may have forgotten. I inspired her to go back to school because I spoke of my schooling, and she also opened a shared investment account at the credit union to build her savings. It was bittersweet hearing that my colleague had left the branch to a new posting a few weeks after I left. Nonetheless, I'm happy for her promotion and wish her the best in her future endeavors. Finish.
All right, good job, Fabian. I liked how everything flowed. I like how you introduced what you set out to do. I just like the flow, like how it like got into like a story kind of thing. So you laid out your points on what mentorship means to you and what is it that you were going to accomplish, and then you then elaborated on your interactions and how you didn't stay in the workplace that the trust built, and then you decided to discuss personal matters, and I just appreciate it. And I also took like how you introspected into looking into revisiting. What pointed out to me was about how you revisited the procedures of the bank and made them adaptable, so that the mentee could be more relatable, so you can impart the knowledge on. And I'm happy that during your experience that not even that your mentee was able to be promoted, but you also had the opportunity to excel as well and get into opportunities. So I guess being a good mentorship um rewards with like rewards or blessings was just bestowed upon you. So I just want you to stay encouraged, keep doing what you're doing. And if more opportunities come your way, just hold on to it, grab it quick, and just do what you keep doing. I appreciated it. I like the flow of it, and I actually could have put myself in the situation. So I was actually going with you as you was presenting your mentorship account. So good job. Anybody else want to add on to it?
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Yuri and Fabian. And again, like Yuri, just to say that's the part that touched me. again, with the policies and procedures, because most of the time, this is the easiest way to do it. This how we've been doing it for years. We don't know if we're doing it right. We don't know if the last person that trained us actually reviewed the policy and procedure, but that you took the time to go and read. And like I said, I think that's what's wrong with the world. Most of us have an issue reading. So the fact that you went back and you trained that person properly, and that is how important that is, because I've stood in trainings where persons stood up and they just talked and talked and talked, and it was utter nonsense, and it was entry-level staff there, and I was like heartbroken because I felt like those staff members did not have a chance to get to the next level, simply because judgment rather than actual fact and policy and procedure. So good discipline that you had, that you went back and you checked, and you got a refresher as well. So very good. Okay, any other comments or concerns? No? Okay, good, very good. Okay, so that was very entertaining, and got lots of information, and I'm happy, like I said, that for the most part, everybody saw the benefit in it, and it helped most of us to self-reflect. And Blakely even said, I had to go to all my meetings, you know, sometimes you have that pop up on your computer and you say, oh my God, not another meeting or not another call, and I can't sit on it, because a lot of times in the institution where I'm at, they just talk. Nothing, you know, they don't even take minutes anymore, because, and when they took minutes, nobody even read the minutes to make sure that they carry it out. It was just talk. Okay, so good, Blakely, that you realized that you were on display and being watched, and so that helped you be more disciplined and stick to all your commitments. Okay, so very awesome, very good presentations. Okay, and thank you all for participating and going out and sharing a very precious part of your knowledge and your education and your personal self. Okay, so very good, excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, so what you're welcome. And so next week again, what I'm going to do tomorrow, you will get a review sheet, because right after this class, the decision should be in my box. But again, I'm going to push again for the 50 multiple choice and the 10 short answer questions, and we know the chapters already. So please tomorrow look out.
Hold on, 10
for
short
your
answers, Miss
review
Bullet. How you
sheet.
get from 5 to 10 short answers?
I said 5. Margaret, don't let me play. I said 50
Kendrick,
multiple
what did Miss
choice
Bullet
and
say?
10 short answer. Kendrick, where
Kendrick, what
is?
did Miss Bullet say?
Kendrick, did I not say 10 short answer questions?
The thing is,
This
the
is
class
60%.
I think it was. I
It's
think it was.
the class
It
recorded.
wasn't
So
5. It wasn't 5, but out of 60.
the class recorded.
Just
Okay,
rewind the tape. Rewind the tape.
Okay,
Rewind the tape.
okay.
Rewind the
Make
tape.
sure y'all listen to this piece of the recording. 50
The class
multiple
recorded. So
choice,
that's all I'm saying.
50 multiple choice, and 10 short answers. 60.
No essay, because I do
questions.
remember them saying
No
we don't want-
essay. That's the only
No
thing
essay.
I know where Margaret get 5, Margaret. I know where Margaret get 5 from. Okay, so please, I'm gonna send a review sheet. Your name is going to be just the same thing that we did in the midterm. Your name is going to be next to the topic. Please come ready to discuss and answer, I guess, questions and to participate. For you who did not show up in the midterm review, I have your names documented, so please ensure that you show up in the final review so you can get all of the points that you worked so hard throughout the semester for. Okay, so very good. I'm pleased overall, and next week will be our last class. I wish we could have a party, but however, we'll just do review. And it shouldn't be, we should finish about 7:30, and then the following week, I hope you would have arranged your day off, your study day. And again, like I said, if you're not allowed a study day, at least get a half day, or take your lunch hour at 4 o'clock that day, so you don't come rushed and overwhelmed and from the traffic or all these stuff that happens in life, and then you could, you know, digest, read the questions properly, and be successful in the exam. Okay, and 2 weeks after you would have sat the exam, you could call. Ms. Bullitt isn't allowed to give out grades. You can call the office, and the office will provide you with their grade for your presentation, as well as your overall grade. And again, all of this is recorded, and so they are going to review the presentations and ensure that, you know, it's marked and cross-marked. Okay? Any questions or concerns? Everything clear, everything clear as mud.
Everything's clear.
Okay.
We just have if anybody has any like the links for the external meetings, Toastmasters, they
Yeah,
just email them.
Margaret, I think I'd be interested in that
In
same
the
on
breakfast club.
one-on-one. How does this work?
That
The
breakfast
Breakfast
club.
Club, yeah, I already
Breakfast
text
club.
my contact for the information. Once he said I can send it in the email to everybody.
Thanks.
No problem.
Okay, yeah, so please take advantage of the benefits. That's your last opportunity to get your
Last
5%. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, great.
Roast master.
Roast master say, okay, Ken. Okay, so everybody, I trusted you have a productive week, and I will see you all next week.
Good night,
All
all.
right, thanks. Good night,
Okay.
everybody.
Good night.
Hi.
Bye.